Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Thursday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. I know that I just did one of these yesterday, but that's because my schedule was off. I'm happy to be back on my regular schedule. Hopefully we can continue with this into Tuesday and so on. But my regular schedule time is on Thursday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know where you are in the world, but you can Google it. But you may be wondering what we're working on today. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I didn't really want to like set up all my pastels and all of that stuff. So I thought I'd do like an ink drawing, and I picked an elephant. So if that's cool with you guys, feel free to hang out with me in the chat. I see the kids in here. We got Kinsley, we got Rome Dog. That is enough for a party, so it's going to be great. Um, so in the title, I said mostly ink because I do have like these like cheap ink pens that I got at like Walmart. I actually got these as like a stocking stuffer this year, or like, man, it's been like 2 months since Christmas, but I got these for Christmas. I always want to use them. I never really seem to find time to use them, so I'm going to use them tonight. But I didn't want just do ink. I wanted to do something a little bit cool, kind of like, sort of like the style I've been doing. So I went ahead and used some watercolor on the paper first. Um, so sorry, I rushed up here, so I'm trying to catch my breath as I'm doing this. I always like come in hot on these live streams. It's like I'm always ill prepared. I'm always out of breath, but we're good to go. It's fine. So a little word about the watercolor. This is watercolor paper, and I'll do like a demo sometime of how I actually do this kind of stuff because I did the same thing for my pastel pictures. So um, Geppetto is like this. He's like, no. He's in protest. He's not praying or clapping. He's like, no. Um, so the preparation for this in this particular case, I don't do any of the gesso or anything like that. But I get the watercolor paper like super wet. And then I do like wet on wet. So then I just kind of drop colors into there and just kind of let it puddle, right? Because I think that's a cool effect. I think it looks nice. And it kind of represents like, oh, I spilled some ink on the paper. Now this is watercolor, this isn't ink, but it might as well be ink. You could do this in ink as well. But that's all it is I really wet down the water paper like super wet, really damp, and then I just drop color into it, just drop paint into it literally. Like I said, one of these days I'm going to get around to doing like a demo of the full process of the pastels. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So I'm going to jump right in and start drawing. But I forget which one of you guys actually recommended this in my poll the other day, but one of you guys actually said I should draw an elephant. So I forget who you are. This is for you. Let's see. So there's a bunch of different sizes of these pens, like, and all these ink pen sets, they're the same. They come in a bunch of different sizes. I don't usually use any of the micro ones, just because I don't do that kind of fine detail. I try to keep it kind of loose. I'm just grabbing like an 8. And I think I'm going to start in the eye area just so that I don't forget where it is. These elephants are a little bit tough because there's not like a lot of detail to their eyes. But anyway, I'm just gonna kind of like do my thing. If I haven't done like an ink picture in a while, so like if I forget to describe something, feel free to ask questions. But I'm just gonna kind of hatch in like an eye here real quick. I think this is generally about where I wanted it to be. Oh, Kinsley suggested the elephant. That's one of her favorite animals. That's cool. All right, well, this one's for you, Kinsley. Yeah, animals, I mean, not animals, elephants are pretty cool. I've done one once before. In fact, when I went looking for like reference pictures, I came across the one that I had already done. They're really cool for doing, like, I think the one I did before was in charcoal, but they're really cool to do in pen as well because pen is a lot of like cross hatching. And like basically an elephant's features are just a bunch of like little, textures. So I think this will work out well if I pull it off. There's no guarantee. Let's see. Hope you all had a fantastic day. I hope you guys all had a fantastic week. The reason why I like doing these live streams on Thursdays is because you go to bed on Thursday night, you wake up, it's Friday. Who doesn't love Friday? I used to do them on Fridays, but then I found that um, people skip to a larger pen, but it's just a bunch of like lines. And as far as like making things like darker or lighter, like I don't do a lot of pens, so it's kind of important for me to kind of like go back over it, the process each time. Um, in order to get something looking light in pen, you just kind of like space things out. In order to get something looking dark, you just kind of make the lines more dense. And it's not crazy. It's pretty straightforward. I think I am just going to kind of outline some of these things here real quick, just so that I don't lose them. Like I started with like a sketch to begin with, like you can kind of see some of the remnants of it, but I don't want to lose some of that with my watercolor. Oh, it's snowing there. Wow. Wait, you're in California, aren't you, Rome Dog? If it's snowing in California, that's amazing. Unless you're traveling or something. That's crazy. What is what? Like weird weather. So much weird weather. Speaking of end times, did you guys notice that they were talking about an asteroids like has a 2% chance of hitting us? That's something to look forward to. It's like it never ends. There's always something out there crazy. Northern California mountains. Okay, maybe it's a little bit different up there. The only places I've been in California are Los Angeles and like San Francisco. So I don't know what the climate is further up north. But I do know that when I went to San Francisco, it was like in June and it was cold. It was so cold that I had to wear a hoodie. Like you always see like these techie guys in San Francisco, like, the people who work at a startup, they're all like wearing hoodies and stuff like that. That's because it's cold there. I don't know if it's always cold, but when I went there, it was on the chilly side. I'm just loosely kind of outlining some stuff so that I know where things are. Um, I'm trying not to make like any kind of like marks that are too formal. Like I don't know. When drawing with pen, you have to be like somewhat confident, and you have to be like not worried about making mistakes. So like I just loosely draw with the pen. If I end up making a mistake, it's fine. I'll cover it up. But you know, just like just like these loose marks. I think that's a cool style for drawing with the pen. Just kind of loosely, kind of just like kind of drag it across the page. Now there, it created this like little curve. I don't really like that curve, right? But I can kind of like fold it into some of the other marks and stuff and kind of hide it. That's what's great about drawing in pen. Just because you like, don't be afraid of making a mistake, because if you make a mistake, you can kind of just go back over it. I think one of the reasons why I'm having trouble catching my breath today is I just ate a big old pizza too. I always like I always eat right before coming onto the live stream, and then I come in here and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna like throw up all over my drawing. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop eating right before I do the live stream. But like when you draw in pencil, you might be like, very carefully drawing. You don't have to do that. You get these like cool like little loose marks just by kind of skating across the page, just kind of like sketching a little bit. And it doesn't matter if it's not precise. It doesn't even matter if it's a line. It just like a lot of cool ink pictures are done scribbling. So you kind of just scribble in the features. Now I'm just kind of quickly outlining the shape of this elephant just so that I know where everything is. And then I'll start like worrying about like tone and stuff like that, getting the shadows right and all that biz. But I had a basic sketch before I put down the watercolor, but the watercolor color kind of covered a lot of that up. So just kind of want to get my sketch back in here. Um, get my little tusks in here. Elephants are cool. Good call, Kinsley. It's fun drawing an elephant. Thank you. Farm bred and corn fed. I like doing an accent every now and then. Like corn fed, corn fed, farm bread and corn fed. There you go. Farm bread and corn fed. I'm not making fun of anybody's culture. I just like doing accents or attempting accents. I can't. The only ones I can really do is and I'm not even going to try the Indian accent. I used to be really good at doing like a poo from Simpsons before I realized that's like culturally insensitive, so I don't do that anymore. Um, but I also do a nice little redneck one. I I don't I can't do like an English accent. I would love to be able to do that. But no, just like an Indian accent and a redneck one, which is like so weird because they're totally different. Because I can't say that's exactly how it sounds. Farm bread and corn fed. So if you ever run into because I can, apparently that's what he sounds like. I should do like an entire like drawing session in that accent. Like, and so I'm gonna draw this elephant. Just get a little tusk in here, get a little curve down here on the tusk. It's all down in here. I can't do it. I can't maintain it. That's the problem. I can't. I can do like a little blip of an accent, but I can't maintain it. I suck. I will never be a voice actor, which is a shame because like I can actually do animation. I would love to do like an animated series, but the voice acting part of it would be challenging. I would have to hire somebody to do that part. All right, so we got the head, we got the ear, we got the tusk. I think got a little bit of an eye going. We'll add some density to that. I kind of want the elephant to kind of like fade off and stuff, but I do kind of want to get this this foreleg shape in here just to kind of like give the picture some balance. I'm not gonna like go too far down into it. I kind of want that to be a little bit abstract as well. I think the back of his leg kind of somewhere around here. Yeah. So somewhere like that, and then I think this right here will be a body part, or not body part, but the body of him. So I'll leave that. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. I like how things look. Um, Let me see. This is an 8, I think. Oh, that's a 0.8. No wonder that's feels a little thin to me. Let's see what else I got here. Let me go with what's this L here? Let's see what that's about. Oh, that's like a nice little brush. Sweet. All right, so this is where you have to like really be confident. So I'm like using a brush essentially to draw here, which is cool. You just kind of like take your time. And this is more for like the other way. This is more for like heavy strokes, like like around the tusk and stuff. I want that to be kind of like filled in. And you can still kind of do your scribble bit, just to kind of like give it some texture. But you do want to be kind of loose. You don't want to be too rigid with these things. And I will come back and add some finer detail, but I'm going to use this guy to kind of quickly get in some of the shadowed areas, like a little bit of an outline here. So one of the risks in drawing in pen, in my opinion, is now I'm questioning my whole reality. Maybe it was the Mandela effect. One of the risks with drawing in pen is that your picture might come out too cartoony. So like that's something I struggle with. Like I've done some pictures in ink that I ended up making them look kind of cartoony. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going for something that looks sketched. Um, which there's a fine line. I mean, if you end up making something cartoony, it's not the end of the world. That's just your new style. That's okay. You can kind of get used to it. But yeah, like I said, you gotta feel um, not really confident. I don't think any artist is actually confident. Like I was gonna say, like you have to be confident and stuff, but you don't have to be confident. You just have to be like you just have to like secretly know that you can fix any mistakes that you create. It's the uh, it's the Mandela effect, not Mandela. That is a cool thing. You guys should look that up if you're not familiar with the Mandela effect. That's where you think you know something, but then you find out that it wasn't real or like it wasn't how you remembered it. A good example, there's like a bunch of examples, but um, the one that I can remember off the top of my head is like your rearview mirror says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear, or maybe closer than they appear, or something like that. And then and then it turns out it was like something totally different. It said they are closer than they appear instead of maybe closer or something like that. I don't remember the specifics of it, but you know that's kind of part of the Mandela effect right there, that you don't remember these things. All right, so like all of this is in shadow, so I'm gonna like cheat here, use a Sharpie, and I don't want to go too crazy with it because I do kind of want to leave that watercolor stuff in there to a degree. They're saying that the Mandela effect isn't real. It's just you're getting old and you misremember things. There might be some truth to that. I don't know how I don't know how old you guys are, but like I do struggle sometimes to remember like little simple things too. So I have this theory, and you guys let me know if it rings true with you guys or not. I don't know if it's like actually my theory that I came up with or if I read it somewhere, but I believe that the way you remember things is twofold. One is like either perceived importance, right? So like I remember my birthday because like it's important to me. I remember the birthday of people I care about um, because that's also important to me. Um, so perceived importance, you remember your social security number in most cases, important things, right? You end up remembering those more often than not. And then there's a second way that you remember things, and that is, repetition. So like if you draw, for example, and you do it so often, you end up you get this muscle memory um, on how to do things, or like you do the same math problem a bunch of times, you automatically remember the answer or something like that. So those are the two ways that people remember things. One is perceived importance, and then the other one is like repetition. So the problem is, as you get older, some things become less important, right? So like, you don't really care what the atomic number of like lead is or something like that. You learned that in school, but it never came up again, and you just kind of forgot. Um, and like if you were like I don't know a chemist or something like that, and you were dealing with like these elements all the time, you might actually remember these things on a more persistent basis. But if you're not, you're gonna forget it. That's the problem. Now I'm starting to forget things that I don't care about, and like who sung a particular song or things like that. I guess it doesn't matter because I never really cared to begin with. But it is occurring more frequently. So you see how I'm kind of like loose with these lines here. It's all so that it looks sketched. I mean, it doesn't just look sketched; it actually is sketched. But let's see, what is this one? A little smaller. Nice. Starting to Starting to get a feel for where all of these things are. I like using these brushes, these brush pens. I can use the fine points and stuff, but here on this elephant, I think that at least where I'm working at, I think it makes sense to use these. So the cool thing about elephants is they really are just a bunch of wrinkles and stuff. So it's like literally like a bunch of detail, a bunch of little lines and stuff. So And you just kind of make sure that the lines are going in the direction that they are supposed to go. Like in this case, they're kind of like folds around his cheek. And yeah, the elephant is just basically a bunch of hatching, cross hatching, and so on. But you know, it's less skill as it is like just believing that you can fix a mistake if you create one. I guess you can call that confidence, but I'm not confident. I am not a confident person. So I hesitate to call it confident. I don't feel confident calling it confidence. It's more like, well, if something happens, I feel like I can correct the mistake, and I do. Like worst case scenario, I'll just pull out my watercolors and just kind of like paint over it or something. But like little scribbles, so like you see, I'm closely doing these lines here, just like little scribbles and stuff. That's like it's 90% of what ink is, and sometimes it takes a while. You do have to have patience with these ink drawings. I try to keep it loose, so I try to draw quicker than not. But at least in like the details and stuff like that, depending on how detailed you want it to be, how realistic you want it to be, it may take a while for you to put in those hatches. But the thing is, you want it to look like, like you didn't care. You just kind of like scribbled this stuff in. Probably take a little bit more care than that, but that's the look of it. And it's nice to have some sort of like background, whether it's ink or watercolor or something like that. Um, that shouldn't do the whole work. That should just kind of like give it a little bit of color and so on. The work should be in your lines. So your lines should do the work of creating shadows and so on. Like down here, that shouldn't be all black. That should be ink. Rumdog says, I like these colors already. Yeah, so I'm using black watercolor and blue, and I think those work really well together. I kind of wanted to keep it nice and cool like that. Incorporating more of your senses together during that time will make a stronger memory. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of body of work done on how scent and smell and taste and stuff like that. So how those things contribute to memory as well. Like you can walk into your grandma's house or something like that, and the smells from like your grandma's house and stuff. Those kind of linger, and then like you go to like I don't know, like an old country store and you smell like a candle or something that reminds you of your grandmother's house and stuff. It's kind of fascinating to me how that works. Now, I could draw each of these lines precisely, and if you want to do that, go for it and stuff. But I like the loose style of just kind of like, I don't know how else to describe it except skating across the page. Just kind of like doing that. And I do like using the brush. I was gonna use a fine point pen. Let's see what happens if I do. Let's put that one to the side. Remember where that one is. What's this B one? Oh, that's a fine brush. Look at that. Oh, I like that. All right, I found a new tool that I like. All right, this is super fine brush. Get some of those little lines in there. So vary up your lines, obviously. Like I'm using the Sharpie down here for like thick stuff. All of this stuff helps create the illusion of shadows. So you got like thicker lines. You have burps. Um, you have thinner lines. All of that helps to create the illusion of detail. And also, like, I'm holding my pen a little bit like somebody would hold their pen to draw, to write and stuff. But you really should get in the habit of, like, holding it more like a brush. Somebody explained that to me at one point. I don't know who. Like, I really need to remember these things so that I can, like, give them credit and stuff. But I was watching somebody, and they talked about why you hold your pen like this. You see like a lot of artists do that and stuff, and I'm not in the perfect habit of it, but I would like to get into the habit of it. So like anytime you guys catch me not doing it, call me out on it so that I can remember to. The reason why you hold your pen like this instead of like, like this. If you look at how you're doing things here, it's all in the wrist, right? Or like you can only draw with your wrist, okay? If you hold it like a brush, it's your entire arm. Well, you can kind of see my arm up here, right? It's like moving around. It is your arm that's doing the work. Now, why does that matter? It doesn't. Not on a picture this size, right? Like this is a small picture. If I just wanted to like do it all with my wrist, that's fine. But say I was working on like a mural, like something really big, or like a large canvas or something like that, then it does matter. Like you're using your arm at that point. So that's why you should really get in the habit of this. And plus, it looks cool. You look like an artist when you're like doing pen work like this. And in my opinion, it creates like more interesting marks. Your art is all about creating marks on the page, by the way. So like if you're ever wondering like what art is, it's the process of making marks. So these are more interesting marks than if I was like, holding it like I was drawing and writing or something like that. So just a little tip and stuff. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You do what you want to do and stuff like that. It's just these are things that I'm working on. Just because I want to progress as a artist, get better at what I do. And also it helps because like a lot of times I do work with like, you know, I work with like pastel or something where it like gets smudgy. This doesn't get that smudgy. This dries pretty quick. Um, but the thing is like you have to like reach across your paper and stuff like that, and you don't want to put your hands in and stuff like even if you draw with like pencil, which a lot of you guys do, um, you don't want to get like smudges all over the paper and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, it's also pretty good to kind of learn this habit. There's a lot of like little lines on this trunk. That's why I'm gonna get these in. It's supposed to look scribbled. It's not supposed to look too highly detailed. Um, Let me get up in here real quick too. Just kind of remind myself that these lines are here. Neat. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. They had a tool for that way back in the Renaissance. Um, I might have missed what I was talking about at the time. Are you talking about for like drawing across a thing? Yeah, I've been like watching a lot of videos on old Renaissance art. I don't think I'll ever do Renaissance art. Like that's not really my oh, thanks because I can. I appreciate that. So, hey, because I can. So like this is the style I would like to do for like those cryptids, right? So like if I did a Wendigo, I would want it to be in the style. If I did a Chupacabra or something, I would want it to be in the style. Maybe not in the ink, but certainly like the whole splotchy kind of look and stuff. I think that would be cool. Um, oh, to rest your arm. Yeah. So like there is like with painting and stuff, there is like little things that you can put across to hold your arm when you're doing painting and stuff. But yeah, I've been kind of like looking into like how Renaissance artists worked. I mentioned the other day, like if you draw a portrait in all green tones and stuff, you can come back over it with magenta and it'll come out like a really nice skin color. I think that's called Verdaccio, um, which I think is kind of cool. And then there's also I'm not going to pronounce it right. There's another one where you do it all in black and white, and then you kind of come back and add color and stuff. These are all like from the Renaissance times. I'm not sure I really want to get into like too much into like Renaissance stuff. Like it's not my style. Like I super appreciate Leonardo da Vinci. He's like an idol of mine. Um, but I don't want to paint like him. I don't want to draw like him and stuff. I mean, I feel like these pictures from the Renaissance times are kind of flat and like too precise for me. I like this more loose style. So if anything, I would be more like into like the impressionism or something like that. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate what they're doing, and the science of what they're doing is pretty amazing. So like the science of a Leonardo da Vinci work is especially like some of his murals and stuff, because he experimented. Like he was a true scientist. He experimented with different methods um, of doing his work and stuff, and some of it didn't work out. You know, like some of it didn't stand the test of time. They have to go back and kind of like fix some of the work that he's done and stuff. But it's still kind of cool that he did that kind of stuff. A lot of little X's in there just to create texture. Hey, Cooper, how's it going? Dumbo looking great. Yeah, let's call him Dumbo. That's awesome. Dumbo all grown up. This is an adult elephant, so he's all grown up here. It's not Dumbo would be on like Disney Plus, wouldn't it? Like all of their old classics and stuff. I need to go back and watch some of those. Like I used to really like watching these Disney movies and stuff like that, and I was super excited when they came out with Disney Plus and they promised to put all their old movies up and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm gonna watch the heck out of those. I never do. I only watch the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. I used to like old stuff like Swiss Family Robinson, you know, like the old Kurt Russell movies from like when he was a kid. Your last Dumbo was in charcoal. That's right, kid. Um, like the old Kurt Russell Disney movies and stuff like that. I love those things. The Apple Dumpling Gang, I used to love that. Um, so I thought like I'd get this Disney Plus subscription. I'd watch all of those. I don't know. I maybe watched one of those movies. Because like when I was a kid, they had those on every Sunday night. They had like Disney Sunday night movie or something like that. It was like a regular thing. And I don't know. Maybe it was like kind of like I don't remember exactly. Maybe they were like made for TV movies or something like that. I don't remember them being all that great. I just remember that every Sunday night you'd have the little Tinkerbell fly in and do the little thing, and you know, it was something you look forward to, or at least I remember it is that way. It may not have been. I don't know. So yeah, so like as far as like cross hatching, so like even though I've got these marks kind of like showing the basic structure of his cheek, I still kind of come in and like cross hatch it just to get those shadows in there. So like through here, for example, even though I've got that blue, it is kind of like shadows, so I still kind of want to come over that blue. And you see, I'm like lightly doing it. So like, you know, you don't want to be like very like you want to keep a light touch, and it takes some practice. It probably does. But then again, I just got these pens like a while back. This is my second time using these pens. It's not like it's not like it takes a lot of like practice to become like proficient with it. I don't even want to say expert because I'm not. But you know, you start making some marks and you see how it works and stuff, and you start feeling like a little bit more confident with your the marks you make. And again, you know, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you just kind of like double down and kind of like cover it up and stuff. There's been a few times where I've made something that I'm not happy with once I fix it, but it's still fixed enough. I don't stress it, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I really thought I'd watch a. Oh, cool, Kinsley. Thanks. I appreciate that. I really thought I would watch more of those Disney movies. I just don't. I'm surprised at that, actually. But who has the time, right? Well, that's not true because I like to watch things while I work. I work on my computer a lot, so I like to have I've got multiple screens and stuff, so I like to have maybe like a documentary or something. But that's the thing about it. It's like a documentary you don't have to like pay attention to. You can do other things. It's like listening to a podcast or something of that nature. So I like to put on like documentaries sometimes while I'm working. Um, but yeah, I can probably watch a movie while I'm working too. I don't know if I would choose to watch like one of these old classic Disney movies, but that's kind of the thing about these things, right? So like I have seen I've seen every Marvel movie so many times that sometimes I just put it on background noise, you know? Same with like Lord of the Rings. I've seen all the Lord of the Rings movies so many times that I basically know them by heart. I don't have to watch it very closely to enjoy it. So I probably have seen the entire Infinity Saga like story, all 10 years of it, probably like at least 3 or 4 times. Yeah, she's just sprawled out. She's like, oh, that modeling yesterday just took so much out of me. I think that picture turned out good. Like it's not my best work, but I like it. She seemed to enjoy it. I showed it to her afterwards, and she was like, "Oh, that's nice." She doesn't really speak English. I just pretend like she does. But really, really like her. Oh, that looks nice is really just right, and her like, oh, I need to go out is like, she's got one expression. You know, she doesn't. She doesn't have a lot of variation. I mean, like, yeah, that's probably not anything you guys want to see. My bare impression is not good. She's just like, I love her, and she's like it's super sweet and everything, but she's like your basic dumb dog, you know. I say that affectionately. I don't mean to diss my dog or anything like that, but she's not the brightest bulb. Now, Guinness is super smart. Guinness, we got like we used to have the round knobs on our doors. I replaced it with one of those like little like lever door like knobs or something. He learned how to open the door, so he lets himself back in whenever I put him out. He can't let himself out because the doorknob works and you have to push it up. But he lets himself in. He jumps up, and he learned that if he jumps up and scratches at the door by accident, he opened the door, and now he knows like, well, anytime I want to come back in, I'll just open the door myself. So I'll put him out in the backyard, but I have to sit there and watch him, or else he's going to open up or like lock the door or something like that, or else he's going to open the door and let himself back in, and then my back door is just going to be wide open in the middle of winter. So that's how smart he is. He is like he's just like genius level. I think it's because he has like some border collie in him, and border collie dogs are super smart, from my understanding. I've never had a border collie, but they're like dogs that you have to like give them like puzzles to work on, or else they're gonna like I don't know. They're they he's probably like I don't know enough about autism to speak to it, but I think he's autistic because he seems to have like those types of things that they describe, where he constantly needs to have something to think about, um, and you give him a puzzle, he'll solve it eventually. Like I could put something up on a shelf and stuff, he'll figure out how to get it. He's super smart. I just like I'm fascinated by how smart he is like all the time. He's always trying to like, and he's always up to no good too. Like he knows what he wants, and he's gonna get what he wants. And I'm just a monkey that serves him. He's in charge. I'm the monkey that serves him. I tell them all the time, like, look, guys, you need to like show some more respect for yourselves because you guys are descended from wolves. I'm descended from monkeys. You guys should have way more respect for yourselves. But I don't know. They don't listen. It's almost like they don't speak English or something. I don't know what it is. Jeremy, did you ever get frames for your coffee picks for for the coffee shop? I have not. I have been pricing them. I just haven't bought them. The problem is I've got so many that it's probably going to cost me a couple of $100 to get all of them. I don't have to hang all of them up, so I think that I'm probably just going to order like I don't know, probably like five or something. But then there's more to it. I need to I feel like I need to get like a poster or like a postcard or something to go along with them to hang up. It's not that I haven't thought of it, but yes, you're right. I need to get on that. I'm kind of been slacking. I do have them priced out. Like I thought frames were like going to cost me a lot more, but if I get like the plexiglass frames, I think with the mat they're only going to run me like $15. I don't know if that's a good price, but that's what I found that I'm happy enough with. I don't feel like it needs to be a perfect frame because like whoever buys it or whatever, they can like they can get a frame on their own. It just has to be presentable. Especially like for the coffee paintings. The coffee paintings, oops. The the coffee paintings need to be behind glass. Um, Not only do they need to be behind glass, just because they like it is coffee, right? So like if you get it wet or something like that. Now I seal it and everything, but you still probably shouldn't get it wet. Like I seal it from like so to prevent like moisture damage and like UV rays and stuff. I have a spray for that, but you should still have it behind glass, and not just behind glass. You don't want it to stick to the glass, so you kind of want it to have a mat as well. So anyway, these are the sorts of problems that's involved with it. Um, but like I just want a nice little white frame. I don't want it to distract from the art or anything like that. Um, so I found some on Amazon. They're like 15 bucks. I'm probably going to order like, I don't know, 5 to 10 of them. I just haven't yet. Uh, I appreciate you reminding me of my inadequacies as far as like keeping to my schedule. But yeah, I really need to. Because like that was my goal for like last year. It wasn't. That's not even my 2025 goal. Yeah, so Michaels and Hobby Lobby seem expensive to me. If you go on Amazon, and maybe it's just the frames that I saw there. But yeah, it seems like their frames are super expensive, and then like you go on Amazon and you can find. So these pictures are like 9 by 12, but I don't want them to be 9 by 12. I want them to be 9 by 12, but also in like a mat around it. So I want it to be kind of blown up to I don't know, like 12 by 16 or something. I don't remember the actual measurements, and you know that's basically like poster size. Like I don't need a very fancy frame or anything like that. I just need basically a nice poster frame, so that they're protected, and then like let whoever ends up with it decide how they want it to be framed. Like they might want it in like a gold frame or something like that. That's up to them. I want the frame that I pick out to kind of like present it, keep it safe, but then like get out of the way as well. So that's my thoughts on it. Um, like I said, they do have like some $15 frames on Amazon. I just haven't bought them yet. I think that so I'm using the Sharpie because like down here where it's dark, you can have these like really like large marks and stuff. And I think you're supposed to just to kind of like keep it dark. But anyway, so $15 isn't much, but then you think like I don't know, like 10 frames, that's 150 bucks. Actually, 150 bucks still isn't that much and stuff just to hang these things up on the wall. I just haven't gotten to it. It's not big. It's not like I can't buy the frames. I can. I just haven't gotten to it. The truth of it is, I really need to start doing that anyway because the coffee paintings you can kind of like just throw them in a drawer, like put them in a plastic bag and throw them in a drawer. You've gotten some of the pictures I've sent, kid. Like I've got those cellophane wrappers or whatever. I can put the coffee paintings in there. When it comes to these pastel pictures that I've been doing, I really kind of need to frame them, even to like send one out. Geez, 350 bucks for an oval frame? What? They've got some decent frames at Goodwill too. Like I've seen some there. The problem is they're not consistent. So like you pick up some frames at Goodwill. They're cheap, but I kind of want all these to look the same. I want them all to be like in a white frame. Like my the coffee painting of the horse that I gave to a friend of mine looks really nice in that white frame. Like there's a picture of it in the on the community tab. I like how that looks. So I'm basically wanting to copy that. Um, Kids like, I think you got scammed, bro. So sometimes I do go to Goodwill and I'll pick up like a frame for like a one-off picture or something like that. But the problem is I want them all to like look consistent when I go to frame my my art to hang up on like the wall. I want it to all like just be. I'm really focused on the presentation here, is what I'm getting at. And yeah, I just haven't done it. I got to do it soon. The offer's still there. I go down to the coffee shop, at least once a month and stuff. I'm good with the owner. The owner's like a really nice guy. He's super cool. I like to talk to him anyway, just so like on general business stuff. Um, because he is like a small time business owner. So it's not just a coffee shop. He actually these guys are cool. So like if you're ever in the Lexington area, Lexington, Kentucky, or if you live in Lexington, Kentucky, Kevin's not in here tonight, but he lives here. He's a friend of mine. Um, Go to like North Lime Donuts. It's so good. So these guys they make their own donuts. They run a coffee shop. It's just a cool story about a small business just succeeding and stuff. And these guys they just had a passion for like making donuts and these are like artisan donuts. They're not like Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. These are like square ones. They're like a family recipe or something like that. They're so good. They're just amazing. If they were fresh, I would send one to each of you guys, just because they're so good. But I don't think they would arrive fresh. But they are that good. They're worth coming to Lexington, Kentucky for. So like, hop on a plane, come out to Lexington, Kentucky, get yourself a donut. They're that good. It's worth the $500 or whatever it costs to get on the plane. I'm joking, but not by much. They really are that good. So anyway, they do that, and then they have a coffee shop there as well. And they did so well. They actually have like multiple locations. I think they have three. They definitely have two across Lexington and stuff. And it's just one of those things, it's like one of those, like nice small business type stories. You don't hear a lot of those, you hear about businesses that struggle and they have trouble making things work and they shutter after a few years. Well, these guys, they've been around for, I don't know, probably 10, 20 years, something like that at least. And it's just a good success story. So I like the guy. I like the guy who runs the place. He's really cool. And so I'm not concerned about like the offer ever like running out. Like I'm pretty sure like anytime I drop these things off, they'll accept it. Now there may be other artists and stuff up on the wall, so I may have to wait. But the offer stands. And then the other thing is, it's like I don't want to just kind of limit myself to that coffee shop. I kind of want to reach out and find some other places. I don't have any like pretense of like getting in a gallery or anything like that. I don't really even care if any of these things sell. I just kind of want to get them up on the wall. In fact, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like little children. It's like you don't actually want to part with them. That's one of the things that's tough. Is like I built this collection of all these coffee paintings that I did, and it's like I don't really want to give them away. Like sometimes people ask for them and stuff. Um, I've I gave away a horse. Somebody bought the owl one. I gave another one out for like a birthday gift. I think it was the deer. But all of these ones that I give away, it's like, man, I want to draw them again just because I miss them. Like they're like my little children. So it's tough for me. It's tough because like I'm not a professional artist. I'm not really that interested in being a professional artist at this stage in my development. I just want to draw pictures and then I want a portfolio of pictures that I can point to and say, look what I did. That's what's important to me. So it's just tough. It's just tough. I'm probably not making any sense, but um, to me, it's kind of like I don't want to let the pictures go. Fortunately, I don't really think any of them's going to sell. They're just going to sit up there on the wall, and that's cool enough. Or like maybe I'll just be the one of those guys that like, hey, give me $1 million, I'll sell it to you or something, just so that I don't get any purchases, and then that's how I'll make sure that I keep my collection. But yeah, I'm kind of weird about that. I'm like, man, I just kind of want to keep them. But yeah, you gotta like, I don't know, you gotta let them go. It's just tough for me. So that's where I'm at. I'm in this state of like weird psychosis. I don't know. I'm, I'm a weird person. I know. It's like I don't know how to deal with things like that. At some point, I will get them into the coffee shop because it is a goal of mine. I need to make it out. Remember this when Fireball Jeremy shows up. Fireball Jeremy. I'm drinking bourbon right now. We got to wait on the Fireball. Jeremy, they're so like your little children, but last night you were ready to throw a bunch in a fire. Okay, now I know what you mean by the fireball. So I figured that out. I figured out how to do that. So it's going to be a contest, right? So it is going to be Fireball Jeremy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like a little pit fire, right? And I'm going to put up two pictures, okay? One and a second, and then you guys get to choose. One of them is definitely going in the fire, and one of them gets saved, and you guys pick which one. That's how I'm going to do it. So you guys get to decide which lives and which dies gladiator style. And I am going to enjoy that. And I'm going to try to keep it fair. So I'm going to try to like, I'm going to pick two pictures that I think are comparable. Like, so that, so that you're not like looking at one and you're like, oh, that's obviously going to be the one that I want to keep. I'm going to make it like, I don't want to use the wrong term, but I think it's like a Sophie's Choice kind of deal. Like, I want you guys to be like, I want you guys to sweat whether or not you're making the right choice. But I'm going to abide by whatever you choose. And you guys get to pick which one survives and which one goes into the flames. I don't know when I'm going to do this, but I think it's going to be more fun than you guys think it's going to be. Like, you guys are like, that sounds terrible and stuff. That's like really bad and stuff. But I don't think you guys realize how bad these pictures actually are. They are not, like you guys talked about, like just drop them off at Goodwill and stuff. These aren't good pictures at all. These are ones that I tried and kind of failed. Like I mean, they're okay, but they're not really anything that anybody would really want, I mean, it's not like I'm a Picasso or something where anything that I created are worth something. These are not. So like, yeah, I could drop them off at Goodwill, put them in frames or something, but they're not actually worth it. So anyway, I think it'd be kind of fun. That would give you nightmares for sure. Well, like you guys are going to have to choose which to liberate and which one to send to the flames. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it with one picture and stuff. I don't want to torture you guys and stuff. I just think it's fun. I think it'd be kind of cool. Like if you guys are really upset by this, I probably I'll probably back out and not do it. But I think it would be fun. See, like I don't know. It's just my philosophy. My philosophy is that like um, not like I'm not like anti-nostalgic. I am nostalgic. Obviously, I tell a bunch of stories on here and stuff. Like I do appreciate history. Um, I do appreciate my own stories and things like that. I do have memorabilia. I have all these things, souvenirs, and so on. But I don't feel like you have to keep everything. And I am an anti-hoarder. Like I have a lot of hoarders in my family. I'm from down south, right? So like most of my extended family is from South Carolina, and they live out in the sticks. Um, so I know what it's like to be a hoarder and to have like stuff you don't need. Like a lot of these people in my family, they live on farms and they have so much stuff. Like because like when you're a country person and stuff, and you have a certain income and all that stuff, you do kind of like hold on to things just because you never know if you need them, right? So you have this big old pole barn. You put all your stuff out in the pole barn and you just kind of hold on to it. And who knows when you might need it, Somebody shows up and they say, I'm looking for this car part or whatever. And you're like, oh, yeah, I got that car part out back. I get it. It's just I'm not that way. Um, Obviously, I don't live in one, but if it was up to me, I would live in one of those like minimalistic Japanese houses where there's just like a grass mat on the floor. Um, so I do believe that like if they're not really worth anything, um, there's no sense in holding on to this like art just because you created it. If it's not representative of your work, you hate it, and so on, burn it all. That's my take on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll chicken out and not do it. We'll see. It's not like I've really like run down and done my coffee shop deal that I'm supposed to do either. Maybe I'll back out and not do this. I still haven't hidden my speaking of burning, I haven't hidden the wood burning art that I'm supposed to hide. Now I have an excuse for that. It's been winter time, so it's too cold to like go out and do all that. But yeah, I've got like a laundry list of things I haven't gotten to yet. So we'll see if I ever get to this one. But yeah, I don't feel like it's wrong. Some of these pictures are terrible. I can show you guys these things. They're terrible. But yeah, I mean, like if this picture wasn't turning out right, I have no problem throwing it away. I'll just draw another one, and practice makes perfect. And like I said, I'm not a Picasso. It's not like everything that I create is worth something. I think this is looking good. That trunk is looking really good. What do you guys think? It does feel not really cartoony, but it does kind of look like a comic book art, sort of. I guess there is a difference. Like this wouldn't be like The Simpsons. It would be more like a graphic novel or something like that. I think this would be a cool style for a graphic novel if I could consistently create things this way. That would be kind of cool. Maybe draw some characters like Daredevil or something in this style. That would be neat. I do love these pins. These pins are great. And like I said, there's nothing special about these pins. I got these pins from like Walmart as a stocking stuffer. I think it was like $10 or something. Um, and I know that usually when people plug a product or something, it's a little bit more expensive. They're not like Walmart ones, but I'm happy with these. They're like $10. I think it's like King's Art or something like that. And if you're just learning, why do you have to buy like $30 pens anyway? Just go with the cheap set. Um, and all the ones that you might need there. Pick up a Sharpie as well. Pick up a white gel pen to go with it. And you're all set. But you too can create art like this. Geppetto saying no to fire. He's got, yeah, okay. So he does have a phobia of fire naturally. So yeah, we would make sure that Geppetto is nowhere near this. I mean, obviously, I would have to do this outside and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe I'll dig one of these pictures out just like as an example. Like you guys are thinking more of this than need be. The pictures I have in mind, they're really bad. They're not that great at all. Some of them were tests, some of them just didn't work out. It's not a big deal. Believe me, like if these were ones that I thought that you guys might want and stuff, I would just give them away to you guys. I've done that. Like you guys know, I've sent you stuff. Uh, that's, that's how he lost his family. Oh no, his family of sticks. Yeah, I have no problem giving out art if I think somebody might want it. I've given a couple of pictures out to people who expressed interest in them and stuff like that. I don't feel like this is that kind of stuff. Plus, it's kind of fun. Kind of fun to like just kind of purge every now and then. That's what I would call it. I would call it like a purge because it is almost like in my mind. I mean, you guys might disagree, but in my mind, so like 2023 or 2024 art that didn't really work out, out with the old and in with the new. Let's create some really cool art in 2025, and then who cares what I created in 2024? Um, you know, I probably would go back and delete some of my old YouTube videos that just, were bad. Oh, I did do that. Sorry, I did do that. I did Harrison Ford one time. Some of you guys who've been around for a while, you guys might remember that. I did Harrison Ford. It did not look like Harrison Ford. It looked terrible. I deleted that video. And I'm not ashamed to do it. Or I might have just set it to private. I don't remember, but it's no longer up on my thing. Sometimes you just gotta let things go. Declutter your life. Say goodbye to the past and move on. That's the way it goes. You got an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, things didn't work out, kick them to the curb. No, you should be nicer with people. Like these aren't people. This is art. Art is art is art. Like I mean, I wouldn't even call it art. I would call it like experiments and stuff. Because like calling it art is probably giving it more value. That's for yeah. I wouldn't like if I wrote a book and stuff and I didn't like the book, I wouldn't burn a book. Some stuff is kind of sacred. Yeah, this guy's looking pretty good. How we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great on time. We might actually have an early one here just because, like, it's not too heavily detailed. I'm not ready to call it yet, but all right. Let me go back to my regular pen here. I like these brushes, so I'm gonna like keep all these over here just so I remember where they're at. There's a bunch of micro ones in here. I'm kind of curious what all of these pens do. Wow, I even got this one. That's cool. I'm gonna use it. Sorry, I'm gonna use this one. This one's kind of like a chisel brush. Nah, I don't like that one. Put it on to the side. I do like to experiment with these things. I guess as far as like regular pens go, the 8 is the largest. I thought I had a 10 here, but that might be with my other set. I've got I've got two sets of pens now. Um, so I might just combine them, but I think this is the largest like actual fine point one I've got. I'm gonna use this to kind of get some of these darker areas in here a little bit more controlled. So the brush is to kind of like create stuff loosely. This actual fine point pen here, I'm going to use to like, now that all of that's done, I'm going to use this to kind of like do a little more controlled work. I mean, it's still going to be kind of like scribbled, but just kind of like thicken up this edge over here that's kind of like in the shadow. Oh, Rum Dog likes this one. Nice. Thanks. I appreciate you guys. Like you guys just saying I like this one just like makes me feel good. It's like little endorphins go off in my head, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing something good. It's like I trust you guys' judgment. I don't think you guys have ever said that I hate this one, so maybe I shouldn't trust you guys. But I don't know. I do appreciate it. There are ones that I've said that I hate. Uh, oh, there's a oh, what did I ever do with that one? Oh, I deleted that video straight off. I was doing Nicolas Cage one time. Do you guys remember that? That turned out terrible. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That turned out terrible. And if you were still, or like if you were around at that time or something, you remember how bad that was. It didn't look like him at all. He looked. Nicolas Cage has had some pictures taken of him where he just looks like weird, right? It was that, but then the way I drew him, it was even more weird. So he was like double weird. It was Nicolas Cage weird. Oh, because I can, yeah. So I hated that picture. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I hated it, right? So that's an example of the kind of stuff that I would burn because like it's Nicolas Cage level weird, but then my drawing Nicolas Cage weird on top of Nicolas Cage weird. So it's like double down weird. And it's just a bad drawing. It's not I couldn't even call it art. It's just it's an abomination. What do you do when you have an abomination? You burn it. Set it on fire. It does not belong in this world. Get rid of it. That's the way I feel about it. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. I wouldn't burn something like this. This right here, somebody out there probably likes it, and I would just probably give it to them for free if they ask for it. Kinsley, if your parents want this, my email address is on my about page. Have your parents contact me, and I'll send this to you for free because you're the one that wanted the elephant. So make sure your parents don't send me an email yourself. Have your parents do it. But yeah, that's what I would do with the picture like this. Um, uh, the uh, the Nicolas Cage one's got to burn. Like the Nicolas Cage one's just terrible. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get rid of things like this. Like I need to pull these things out to kind of like show off a little bit what I'm talking about, so that you guys don't feel so weird about it. They are bad art. So this fine point pen helps to kind of control things a little bit more than the brush one. But yeah, I like this one. You are absolved from the chopping block. I don't know. I don't like the idea of burning art, but I don't really think of it that way. You think like Nicolas Cage and Lady Gaga are the same person? Maybe. The thing about I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage. I'm a huge fan of Nicolas Cage actually. Um, but you never know what you're going to get with Nicolas Cage. You can get the best movie ever, or you can get just straight up weird. It goes both ways with Nicolas Cage. He is such a prolific actor. He's been in like everything, and not all of it's good. Um, but you never know until you actually watch it. You know, like there are some movies I'm trying to. I can't even think of any off the top of my head. There are some that I really like. So like, there's some that are understated. Like I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Weatherman. That's a Nicolas Cage movie where he plays like it's kind of like an existential type movie. It's hard to explain, but I really enjoyed it. And it's surprising that he's in that because it's not really the type of movie he usually does. Um, so that's a really good movie in my opinion. And then what's the bad one? What's that one where he kind of like could see the future a little bit and like I don't remember the name of it. It didn't make an impression. It was pretty bad. I didn't like it at all. And then he comes back and makes another movie that I just love. You know, it's one of those things where you just never know. There's a couple of actors like that, but Nicolas Cage is probably the biggest one. But yeah, like honestly, you can just continue working on this forever. There is a point where you don't want to overdo it. That's probably like a general rule for like all loose art, which I would consider this somewhat loose. Like there's a point where maybe you kind of gone too far and stuff. I'm not worried about that so far on this, but you do want to like kind of balance, anytime you kind of do like a loose work, um, whether it's that pastel stuff that I've been doing with the abstract stuff, so like you don't want to cover up the watercolor too much on those. You don't want to do that on this. So I'm doing some stipple in here, just because like through here there's like a totally different texture. This is where things get like a little bit tedious. You can do like an entire picture in stipple art. Like if you're ever like, I talk about how art is kind of like a meditative process sometimes. So like if you're not into meditation, you should get into meditation because it's great. Um, but the whole thing is like, if your mind is always racing, which mine always is, like I'm always thinking about something. Um, except when I drink my bourbon. But say your mind is always racing all the time. Um, you have to quiet it down. This is the perfect way to do that. You just start doing dots and stuff, and like if you want something to be dark, you kind of like do a lot of dots in one area, and if you want something to be light, you kind of spread out the dots and so on. But you just do a bunch of dots, and you'll end up with a big old picture. But the more important thing is you'll end up with like a peace of mind. Um, like this kind of zen like effect of just like repetition over and over and over again. It just blanks out everything. And like while you're doing this, your mind might start to wander. You might think like, huh, what do I want for dinner tomorrow or something like that. I mean, probably going to be pizza, but you never know. But like you just keep doing the dots and your mind will come right back to like, huh, I am completely zoned out and at peace with my dots. That stuff, people pay good money to learn how to meditate and stuff, and you get it for free just by being an artist. It's nice. People pay a lot of money for like therapy. you know, you stressed out at work, you stressed out at school, do some art. Somebody's annoying you, you're mad at somebody or whatever, do some art. There are people who spend their entire lives doing art just to process frustration. You know, Um, that's like that's like actually the best art. The art that's like super meaningful and stuff is the stuff where people are working out something. You know, they're working out some sort of thing that's that's bothering them. And you know, it doesn't have to be that grand. It's not like you have to put that much meaning into like your work or whatever. It could just be an elephant, but just doing that sort of repetition and stuff. That's what I so like a lot of my pictures. They're not they're not super detailed. They're kind of like done quickly. They're done loosely. They're all done to get them done like in a certain amount of time and stuff. But whenever I'm not on camera and I'm just like hanging out, you know, this is the kind of stuff I like to do. I like to do doodles. Sometimes I'm in meetings with you know, clients or uh, you know, teams or something like that, working on like a project or something. I'm just doodling. Helps me process. There is something I used to do because I saw somebody else doing it. Uh, just drawing a spiral, right? So just doing this. If you just do that, like if you ever get frustrated and you want to calm down and you want to release some stress, just draw a spiral. I know it doesn't make any sense and stuff, but just try it. Just try it and you'll be like, wow, Jeremy is onto something there. It's like I used to get all kinds of stressed out and stuff, and then I started drawing these spirals for no reason. And I felt so much better, you know. It works. It really does. It centers you. Like especially if you like start big and you start going inwards, it's like your mind is kind of like just focusing inwards, you know. And you don't need any kind of like artistic skill to do that. Like it's just, you know, you're upset because you saw something on TV, like on the evening news or something that made you mad. Well, you know, just draw a little spiral. You'll feel better eventually. You might have to draw big spirals and stuff depending on what it is that's upsetting you. But I'm just saying that like, you know, that kind of stuff, it does work. It helps centers your mind and relaxes you and kind of like relieve some stress and so um outside of like doing art and stuff, that's kind of the stuff I'm into. I'm into like mindfulness type stuff, meditation. I'm into uh I'm into like productivity. Like I'm not the best at that type of stuff, but that is something I'm into. Like how do I get like a bunch of work done quickly and efficiently and stuff like that, you know? Like I track time I spend on things sometimes just so that I can like, you know, get better at it and stuff and reduce time and I do all that habit tracking stuff. It's just you know, things that are important to me. And I think art's like a big part of that. Oh, ceramics is used in. Cool. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's got a thing, whatever your thing is. All right, so I think this guy's looking pretty good. I'm probably going to go ahead and call. Like, how we doing? An hour and 14 minutes. That's fine. Like I said, sometimes these things don't take as long just because like of the nature of it. This one's kind of like that. I'm gonna I'm not gonna do a lot with this, but in fact, I'm not even sure where I might do some. But I think I'm going to add some like little highlight on his um eye flap. It's not an eyebrow. What is this called? Like eyelid. There we go. Sorry. And then like some of these other areas through here. Just gonna kind of like put that in there. Maybe add like a little bit of white through here just to kind of. I don't want to get too crazy with this stuff, but there's a few little touch up areas. I'm pretty happy with these tusks. I don't feel like the need to do too much there. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Maybe put. I need to get some better gel pens. These are dying on me here. It's probably because I use them for everything and they get like clogged up and stuff. But I think that's fine. That's kind of cool. Yeah, Kinsley, I appreciate the suggestion. There's some other ones in there that I saw that I liked. You know, the cryptids, if because the can's still in here, I'm gonna get around to doing that at some point. I don't know when I'm gonna do that. I don't want to save it for like Halloween and stuff, but like I don't know if it's like something I want to work on at the moment. But I will be doing those at some point. Some of the other animals that people talked about, like I don't know, like I think there was an alligator in there. I think I think because I can't suggest a platypus. I would love to do a platypus. I will probably do a platypus before too long. We'll see. Your birthday is in June. There you go. I will do a cryptid for your birthday for sure. Make sure you remind me because June's pretty far off. A Valentine's Day creature that is right around the corner, isn't it? That's next week. Maybe I'll do something for Valentine's Day. I'm gonna have to put some thought into that. But yeah, the platypus thing, I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, you guys don't have to wait until I ask. If you guys ever have a suggestion or just something you want to see me try, feel free to drop a comment on any of my videos because like I read all of them. Just like drop a comment, let me know what you want, and all I can do is say no. It may be something I'm not interested in drawing. It's got to be family friendly, so make sure you don't suggest something that's not. It may be something I'm not interested in doing. It may be something I can't do at the moment, but it's something that I want to revisit in the future. Maybe it's something that it might be a challenge to me and I actually want to do it, but I have to think about it. So you guys feel free to make suggestions and we'll just roll with it and stuff. Don't beat me up if I don't do what you want right away and stuff. You know, I'll probably get to it at some point. Animals. I love doing animals and stuff. So like people's pets and stuff like that. I will. I think I'm caught up on animals that people have sent me. I think I still have to do Ben's animals that passed away. That they asked for that like a long time ago. I just never got around to it. I do prefer or like show preference to doing memorials of animals that passed away. But things like elephants and stuff. I love doing elephants. So just feel free to recommend those things. Let me know. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call this one a little bit short. And like we did yesterday anyway. So like it's not like we have to spend too much time on it today. Rumdog says, you are a thinker. I feel like I am a thinker. I like to think a lot. I think everybody's a thinker. Come on. But no, I do think a lot. I'm actually into like, things like how to think, philosophy and so on. So that is totally a true statement. Philosophy is like, there's no money in it and stuff, but that's something I would have gone to school for. Enjoy that kind of stuff. But anyway, I think we're gonna call it done on this elephant. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Those of you stuck around to the end. Kinsley, yes, like I said, have your parents contact me. Just because like I want to make sure that they're aware that I'm sending you something. But yeah, I'm happy to send this your way since you requested. But I think that's about it for me tonight. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this elephant. Let's see. I will be back on Tuesday. I'll try to keep to it this time and I won't reschedule it. But Valentine's Day is next week. Maybe I'll do something for Valentine's Day. We also have like Captain America showing up. Sometimes whenever like a Marvel movie comes out, I kind of want to do like a character from that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do like Captain America Valentine style. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Have a good one. I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.